Hi everyone, welcome back. Great to be here with you today. Excited to get into a new topic, which is all about estrogen dominance. We work with so many women inside of our practice that are dealing with PCOS, infertility, and so many other issues that I'm about to speak to you about here today. So if you think you've been suffering from estrogen dominance before, or you might be questioning if you are, I'm going to take you through those specific symptoms today, but also give you the first step in order to be going back to being able to rebalance your body. Because remember, this is fixable for every single woman out there. So I don't want you to believe that you are all alone, that you're alone, not having to be able to get the help that you need. So we've worked with tens of thousands of women with this specific condition, and I have no doubt you'll be able to fix yours as well. So let's get right into it. The top 10 signs of estrogen dominance. We're gonna go through them one by one. All right, so for the first sign of estrogen dominance that I want to take you through, it is mood swings and irritability. So this is a little bit different. This may actually just come on more towards the end of your cycle, more during the luteal phase, maybe the last 7 days or so before you get your menstrual cycle, before day one of menstruation. And so I want to write that down. It's mood swings, but they may be more severe during the last 7 days during that luteal base phase. All right, number two, the second symptom that you may see is low libido. And again, during that luteal phase, maybe that last period of the cycle, the libido may be a little bit lower, the actual sex drive may be lower. And one of the issues with this, as we're talking about overall estrogen dominance, is understanding that it's most likely your progesterone levels that are lower than they should be, creating this thing called estrogen dominance. So it looks like you have higher levels of estrogen where a lot of these symptoms are coming in. However, the real issue we're talking about right now is lower levels of progesterone caused by sometimes increased sympathetic nervous system state, such as high stress hormones, lower levels of thyroid, and we'll talk more about that as well. So the third one is weight gain. Now, this one's a little bit different. And that is because estrogen dominance weight gain can feel more like water retention and puffiness, and that your body's almost feeling swollen, so that the skin may even feel a little bit tighter. A lot of women talk to us about that in our practice. So think weight gain, think about difficulty losing the weight, slower metabolism, and much of that to do with a lot of inflammation and water retention. All right, the next one on the list is worsening of PMS-based symptoms. So we spoke a little bit about this before. During those last 7 days, maybe even 10 days for a lot of women, that you start to feel more of that bloating, the water retention, the low mood, and the irritability. Kind of skipped past irritability in the beginning, but that is one of the hallmark signs as well, is you just don't feel like you have the same patience, or again, things set you off. You feel like they set you off just a little bit easier. And if this is you, it absolutely, if it kind of feels like you, it absolutely can be due to the lower levels of progesterone, leading to the feelings of higher levels of estrogen dominance. And I keep saying that because we work with so many women in our practice that their estrogen levels are actually normal, but believe it or not, progesterone levels are too low. So it feels like high estrogen during the last 7 days or so of their cycle. All right, number five is irregular menstrual cycles. So one of the big things we are big on is being able to lab test what your estrogen, progesterone, stress hormones like cortisol are. And sometimes you say, well, I don't actually have a normal cycle. Some months it's 26 days. Some months it's 28, sometimes it's 31, sometimes I miss a cycle. This is a real sign of estrogen dominance as well as lower progesterone. During those times when you're looking to lab test, I'll talk about that in just a moment, you want to understand is you still want to test during the times of higher symptoms, and the symptoms are exactly what I'm going through here today, and is simply doing your best to be able to get those results that you're looking for. All right, number 6 is bloating. I just mentioned that a bit when I talked about that during PMS-based symptoms. But if you find yourself getting more bloated during the last 5 days, 7 days or so of your cycle, really strong sign that you're estrogen dominant, that you actually might have too higher levels of estrogen inside of your body. Some of that's because your liver cannot process the estrogen well enough, can't break it down and remove it from your body. Sometimes because of higher levels of toxicity that I spoke about in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect. And sometimes it can be from other issues that you're dealing with as well, such as a methylation-based breakdown. You're not able to actually process these hormones as well, get them out of your body. But again, all of this very fixable. You just need to know exactly what's going on within your body. All right, the seventh one is sleeping, trouble sleeping. So if you are having issues falling asleep at night or waking up a couple hours later, 1 o'clock or so in the morning, and not being able to fall back to sleep, again, another sign that this level of insomnia or poor sleep can be due to hormones. Number 8 is overall fatigue, but not just because of poor sleep. We have many women in our practice that their sleep schedule is completely fine. They're getting to bed, let's say by 10 o'clock at night. They're waking up at 6:30 in the morning or so, but they are just not able to go through life with the level of energy that they want. And during those times, we can say, okay, is this towards the end of your cycle? Is it the beginning of your cycle? Does it kind of go up and down throughout your cycle? And that's something that we look at as well, as timing of this fatigue. If you're always tired, we don't want to just look at estrogen and progesterone, but we want to look at estrogen and progesterone in relation to cortisol as well as thyroid. But I can tell you, especially if your fatigue really begins to kick in towards the last 5 days, 7 days of your cycle, most likely related to low levels of progesterone and either high or normal levels of estrogen as well. All right, the 9th symptom is going to be brain fog. So if you are having trouble recalling names, remembering where your keys are, what you're supposed to do next, any of these things, and especially, like I said, if they start to get worse throughout your cycle progressing, this can be a real sign of estrogen dominance, of that brain fog that sometimes you feel like you can't even relieve until 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. That cloud, that haze, it just doesn't seem to lift. So brain fog is another one to look out for. And the last one on the list that we work with many, many women in our practice is fertility-based issues. So if you're having difficulty with your menstrual cycle, getting your period back, or if you're having difficulty getting pregnant, a lot of times, again, it is because of low progesterone. Now, you have all the symptoms of high estrogen, but remember, a lot of times this estrogen dominance is actually because of low progesterone. And it's most important that your progesterone levels be peaking around days 19, 20, 21 of your cycle, and that's exactly when you're going to want to test. So I'm just going to write down infertility right here, and really big one. We work with many thousands of women to help them get their cycles back, to help them be able to have a family if that is what they so choose. So my most important goal here is to allow you to understand that all of this is very common. Not normal, right? We don't want it to be happening to you. It's not normal in a healthy, balanced body. But the good news is this, that you know what it's caused by and that you're able to fix that in your own life. So the very first thing we recommend is running something called the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test. And it's going to look at your estrogen and progesterone. I think you probably assumed that. Then it's going to look at your testosterone and DHEA to look at PCOS-based symptoms as well. Cortisol levels throughout the day. Thyroid levels as T4, T3, TSH. Again, you don't need to know what any of this means. Look at your blood sugar, look at your vitamin D, and then we're able to find out, oh, okay, you have higher levels of cortisol at night. You have lower levels of thyroid. This could be creating a low progesterone. You have normal levels of estrogen, but you don't seem to be processing it through your body well enough. Let's use a product like Estrogen Balance. Let's use an adrenal soothe. Let's use some magnesium. Let's get you on an anti-inflammatory nutrition plan. So all of this comes along with lab testing to make sure you have the right protocol for you. So called the stress hormones, mood and metabolism test. I'm going to link up where to find that below the video. It is a game changer. If you're able to find out what is going on inside your body, you'll want to run that test during the days of most symptoms. So pick one day, highest symptoms, 20, 21 of your cycle, somewhere around that date. And then what you want to do is make sure you get that back to the lab. You'll get a plan that is built for you in just about 3 weeks or so after that. And that's going to help you across all the fronts to be able to alleviate those symptoms and really get back control of your own body, your own health, your own mind. So You can find that link below this video or just head to stephencabral.com/hormones-test. Take care and hopefully this was helpful.